Hey, this is Mike from Intro Stars, and today we're very excited to bring you a brand new episode of our podcast, The Super Connectors. And we've got a very special VIP guest all the way from New York City, Jessica. Hey, Jessica.
Hello, Mike.
So nice to have you on the show today.
Well, thanks for having me today.
What an honor. So could you tell us a bit more about what it means for you to be a super connector?
Well, I run my community called Yorkseed. I think being a super connector was able to create, to bridge the gap between everyone in my network, not just locally, but globally, and also in person, virtually as well. So yeah, just matchmaking, putting people together based on what you're looking for and with good synergy.
Can you tell us a bit more about Yorkseed? What kind of community is it? Are there lots of other super connectors joining Yorkseed? We'd love to hear more about it.
Yes, we actually have a lot of super connectors, also part of Yorkseed. Yorkseed is a global venture capital community for founders investors, which I started last year out of a very fun thing that I did in South by Southwest Austin. So yeah, pretty much is right now we have hosted in-person events in different conferences and different local city hub, and also we have different group chat for members to connect in our community. So we have about 23 global chapter now and 16 conference hub around the world.
And what kind of members are part of the community, and what kind of introductions are being made, or what kind of introductions do you make yourself?
Yeah, so it's only a community open for founders and investors. So as long as you are founders, we have from early stage all the way to IPO, and investors from angels all the way to family office, and you can be part of the community. We have our investor network is growing, and we definitely have investor, emerging fund. We're able to raise fund from GPLP family office, and we have founders that raise fund from our investors, and we actually have founders who were in South by Southwest Sydney last year and start a company there.
Oh wow!
Because of Yorkseed, a chance to just go over. So yeah.
So every introduction can lead something amazing, like launching a new company. That's quite exciting.
Exactly. At the end of the day, you never know. Like a lot of people come to my events, come to my network. They'll ask, "Can you point me to the room? Who are the investors?" I'm like, "Listen, this is not how you make connection. Investor relation, any like personal relationship building is a long-term work. You just keep an open mind. Whoever you meet, you cross paths. That might open doors for like 5 more other people."
So can you tell us a bit more about how you became a super connector? What's your journey, and how do you start making introductions for other people? How you built your community at Yorkseed? We'd love to hear the journey.
So it really started out from South by Southwest last year. I came back from a trip in Asia. I was feeling really tired. So my friend invited me to Austin, and I realized that at the same time as South by Southwest, and I don't really have a badge to go to any events. Yeah. So what I did was I went online and I do my research and I find out all the events I can attend without a badge. And I put in a spreadsheet and I send it out to my network, and people just, reply to the email. And I'm like, okay, guys, this is too much for me to handle. So I started a WhatsApp group from one person in the WhatsApp group to over 200 people, 5 events to like over 200 events. We went viral last year in South by. Influencers on TikTok were talking about us. So, and I hosted my very first pre-Yorkseed informal founders investor mixer, fully open house, a lot of great feedback. And during my layover at the airport lounge in Houston, back to New York, and I talked to a couple of people from my network that I first, that I met in South by, and I'm like, maybe I should start something. So since then, I started Yorkseed. I'm a backpacker, traveler to begin with. So like whatever things I started, I always have like a global mindset. So even when in the very early stage, I really knew that whatever things I'm gonna build, like it's gonna be global stage. And there's conferences throughout the year that I love to attend, like Web Summit, because I love Lisbon in general. So, like Web Summit, Paris Blockchain, Collision, like Collision is no longer Collision in 2025. They're moving to Vancouver as Web Summit. So like all this city that I like, and I knew there's a potential for a local venture system. So I created that and I make it into a hub. So throughout the months, and I met different people from different city. And once I get to know how the local venture scenes are, and I decided to create a hub. So since then I just grow. So I have helped people to connect in person and also remotely. all the events that I hosted are usually very exclusive. If it's for founders and investor mixer, it usually have a different stage. If it's a seed stage or like Series A and above, if you're not if you're not qualified, even though you're a member of my network or you're a seeder, but you can come to be a part of it as a volunteer.
Yeah.
So and investors really love it. They love that we're keeping it very exclusive. So yeah, it's
So
just
it's quality over quantity, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And through Yorkseed, I also become a venture partner and a New York City chapter director for VNTR Capital, which is the world-leading growing investor network. So with that, it opens up even more door. So yeah, like last year in Web Summit, we went viral with 6 events, and we have South by Southwest coming up soon. One in London actually, this year in June, and also early Austin. So yeah.
Lots of things going on. So very exciting for you to build that community, for you to be a super connector yourself, but also attracting founders, investors who all want to be connected to each other at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
So building those bridges. Great.
Yes.
Now, obviously, when you make all these connections, you build trust. People start to recognize you, your personal brand. It's Jessica, the super connector.
Yeah.
But how do you balance that with also monetizing some of these introductions or connections or events? Because obviously there's a fine balance between helping other people, making great introductions, bringing people together, but also monetizing, because that could be also kind of the other side of it. So how do you keep that balance between the two?
So I would say I started Yorkseed in 2023, and it's still kind of like an early journey for me because I'm not from the tech venture background. I'm not from a banking background. I pretty much just disrupt the industry by showing up out of nowhere. So yeah, like I experienced different model, like sponsorship for exclusive events, and charging for different events, and also facilitating deal flow, or for like company they're looking to raise, and maybe like a small like introductory fee. So that's like different way to make money from that. But I would say that my goal is still focusing in building out, and I can see Yorkseed will become a platform. Right now, it's like I'm building up all different funnel on all my group, and I'm still building up the brand. So the brand is ready, and the next step would be having a platform. And down the line, we'll have my own fund. That'll be a different thing. But yeah, having my own platform will be the way to go.
Amazing. It makes sense to use a platform to track introductions made and received. So if you look at a new generation of platforms like IntroStars, which tracks every introduction you make and receive, and as an introducer, you're guaranteed to get paid if a deal comes out of it, a referral commission or introduction fee.
Yeah.
So how does that change the experience for introducers like yourself or other introducers in your community or other people you know?
Well, it's definitely a very great way, for introducer to make money too, because oftentimes, like in New York, the whole networking scene is very different. You go to any events, like you don't wait, you just show up that, hey, I am Jess, I'm looking for blah, 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 and this is what I can help, let's exchange. It's much faster than in Europe in general. And, like oftentimes, like, in a networking event, like a connector, they don't usually make things out of it. They like to do it because they want to help people. And some was actually, they don't realize that this is their skill and they should monetize the skill. Every moment, every minute that you spend talking to someone, it can be monetized. So yeah, I think, a platform like IntroStar is really good to make sure that, it give you incentive that you want to grow your network while being rewarded at the same time.
Yeah, and I love what you said. It's really fair compensation for your time. You should be rewarded for your efforts.
Yeah.
So that's exactly the vision behind IntroStars. Absolutely. Great. Yes. Thanks so much. Now, if you look at the latest trends in networking, in introductions, in connections, in community building, now what are those trends you see happening, and how does that change your approach and what you're building?
So I have seen like a lot of community, pop up nowadays. Like to monetize a community is very difficult, and this is why eventually Yorkseed, the word community is going to be a network. And I feel like quality, like a lot of people having a hard time, to filter out the quality people. So yeah, like I think just, you have to be focused on what are you providing, and, make sure you screen through everyone in your network to make sure the top people remain to stay there. And that's another problem that I found of a lot of community is kind of like, for example, if you're targeting a creative space for artists, for like C-suite, but if you don't renew your members database every year, the person who they say they are today, in 2 years down the line, that may not be the person that may not be working in the same field too.
Of course.
So this kind of filtration has happened. So yeah, like I think that's a niche, like also the community out there. With me, Yorkseed, like my goal is simple. It's a global venture capital network for founders, investors, in the tech innovation sector. I am sector agnostic, but I do not touch cannabis and casino gambling. So if you are founders, investor in those space, that will be other community out there to welcome you. As long as you're building something or you're investing in something that will do good for the next future generation, then I'm all in for. And also like Yorkseed, look at it as your venture travel passport. No matter what conferences you attend around the world, you're gonna meet one Yorkseeder nearby.
A Yorkseeder. That's
everyone in my network that like they call themselves a Yorkseeder.
Love it.
So yeah, they're really they love to be a part of it. Yeah.
Fantastic. So where can people follow you, see what you're working on, and look at your next coming up events?
Yes, of course. So you can find me on yorkseed.co, YORKSEED.co, or you can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Jessica Sophia Wong with SOPHIA. So that's usually I put all my information up. Cool. If you Google Yorkseed, there'll be like newsletter you can sign up. And now I'm actually giving out. I have created an ebook called the Yorkseed Conference and Tech Week Survival Guide.
Oh wow!
So it's still for free. So everyone, if you subscribe to our newsletter, you can get the ebook for free. But yeah, you can find us on online. We everywhere, in London, in Paris, in Singapore, Sydney, New York, all the way in Qatar and Dubai.
Amazing. So you're a proper global nomad, always out there at all the conferences, right?
Yeah, like it's impossible for me to go to every single one of them. I pick and choose. But I actually haven't been to Sydney yet, but I already ran an event in Sydney twice. So as long
you've got Yorkseeders in every city. Represent you. Okay.
Exactly.
The community. That's great.
So, it's your venture travel passport, I would say.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to read your ebook about the survival guide for all these conferences and meet lots of Yorkseeders all over the world. So thank you so much, Jessica. So nice to have you on the show today. And
thank you for having me.
I look forward to being part of your community.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.